Hi there, welcome to Dogecoin Wyckoff Technical Analysis session. Last week we already shared and asked the question, is Dogecoin about to launch? While the clock is ticking and I've shared the dates, well, we're getting very close now. So after a week, it's getting nearer and nearer, and we are about to see some action. So let's dive in and take a look at when and where the charts are. So this test has not happened, so it's a good sign for the bulls. This is continuing. Potentially the last point of support is around, and more importantly, even though this week has a longer red candle, it hasn't dropped below the upward trend line, this dashed line that we shared in previous sessions. So a very important point is there are two triangles over here. One, the dashed line with the white box, the top edge of the white box, and the dashed line with this red key level of 0.25 basically. The white line is around 0.22. The importance of these, they resemble the candlestick pattern analysis theory of an upward or ascending triangle. So that's a bullish sign according to the textbook. Hopefully that would happen the same way this time for Dogecoin, and looking at the volumes themselves, they have been quite steady, I would say, after the sign of strength and returning from that point to the horizontal consolidation now. All these few weeks it has been pretty stable around 200 million, close to 200 million, and the timeline itself, looking at the weekly chart, you probably won't feel much because it looks like we have to wait for another few weeks before the decision point whether the whales are going to pump the price to the PSY and eventually the buying climax level. But if we look at the daily charts, that's going to be very interesting, because here in the weekly we see is a close call or like near scenario to a squeeze. For me, I would consider a squeeze is happening already, but for some, they would wait for the bottom purple line to get into the orange. However, if we move to the daily chart, the story is different. So, last time we asked, okay, is the price coming down for a sign of weakness? Doesn't look like it, because the bulls has been very successful in making the price staying above the upward trend line. So that's where the key point is, because it doesn't come down for a sign of weakness, and these may not even be LPSYs eventually, while we can tag them still like that, because it may eventually go up to the up thrust and making these less important. So back to the dates. You see where this line is crossing the white line, right? So it's 10th of September, and tomorrow it's already 1st of September. For some parts of the world, you're already in 1st of September. So there are only around 9 to 10 days left before this price has to, or the whales, the big guys, have to show the market. Are they going to make the move? If they are, that means the price will first break above the white resistance and then eventually challenge the red. So the coming 10 days, 9 days is very key. If the signal up, then the likelihood of this going further will become larger. So that means the point of going to up thrust in the daily time frame, the percentage of heading to testing this will get higher. While in the weekly, that means it's going to come to this point, and that's a signal that the route to the new distribution cycle may have started. So that's why it's very key from now, counting the next 10 days, this would be the first signal, like the starting gun in a running race. And then next is this. This point is October 4th. So after this surge out, if it surges very quick, then we don't have to wait till end of September or early October. But if it doesn't, if it still trades a little bit sideways or lingering along this dashed line, then when we get closer to the first week or first few days of October, this decision point will appear again. So beginning of September, beginning of October are two key dates or time frame that breakouts will happen. One addition to this, I haven't drawn it before, is this line over here, the declining tops. So if you include the wicks, let me move the text a bit so you see where I'm drawing the lines. So if you include the wicks of the candles, this date again crosses September 10th. So I'm not sure whether it's well planned or is it coincidence. It's very interestingly, while this ascending triangle is heading towards there, even if I draw a line from this point and form a pennant, it's also pointing towards September 10th, the same date. So it's double confirmation, like that the price is heading towards the decision point. While an ascending triangle would mean an upward movement, a pennant doesn't tell us where it goes. One group of analysts prefer the theory that if the price enters a pennant down up, it will exit down up as well. Vice versa, the same case. While the other group of analysts would say, no, it doesn't tell which side it goes, it just goes wherever the big guys want the price get to. So that makes sense as well. With all this consolidated, we all know the point is near and that Dogecoin's big move is about to come. Final check on Bollinger Band current squeeze. If we look at the orange line and the purple lines, the purple has clearly entered the orange, and that means a squeeze is happening, and this squeeze is to gather momentum for the next bigger price move. Not saying when there's no squeeze there won't be bigger price swings, because there is latency. So this one, there was a squeeze back in early July, and that's the leg upwards, and immediately it returns to a lower level. So combining Wyckoff, we know why that happened. So it's basically it climbed to the buying climax, and then we expect automatic reaction, then a second test, and eventually a sign of weakness. So those two combined, the Wyckoff and the Bollinger Band current squeeze indicator combined, we can have a complete story understanding what actually happened, much like what the accumulation cycle back in April as well. Mid-April to, well, for a week, the squeeze happened, and then the price started to pump. So there was the first squeeze, released a little bit of energy, a second very close. I usually consider a squeeze when the purple gets so close to the orange. Second squeeze, but then that's the buying climax. That's why we're expecting some kind of downward action, automatic reaction, second test, LPSY, and then boom, eventually selling climax, and the new accumulation happened. And now we're in another new distribution cycle, and probably getting close to where it's going to enter a new stage. So let's take out the indicator. Remember, this one, we hope it goes to the upside, but we're not sure whether it's really going to be an upwards or just a second test, because that depends on where the weekly time frame the bigger whales, the bigger players, are trying to do. So one positive scenario is it goes to challenge these levels. So in the daily, of course, it will show us not only an upthrust, but maybe potentially upthrust of the distribution as well. But for now, for simplicity's sake, let's just leave these here. Second test and an upthrust. I won't be surprised because it's a daily chart, and AR2 also happened. There's something similar to the AR for buying climax. It's just for the upthrust, so I added 2 to the end. And that's the positive scenario. Negative scenario meaning it's going to come down outside of the support dash line, maybe trade sideways for a bit, or even come down for a test, and then eventually do its work towards the distribution cycle. If you ask, what are the percentages of chances coming down here versus going that way, I would say maybe 65% for that side and 35% coming down for another test, because the other altcoins are still kind of going through their positive stages if they haven't gone through their peaks yet, while some may return from their distribution cycle. So I would say the capital is shuffling their money across different altcoins at this stage, if you believe in the altcoin season terminology. I'm not a believer of it. I just follow the Wyckoff patterns. I look at the altcoins individually. So Polygon is pumping today, so it has clearly a different stage or different rhythm from other altcoin. Much like Dogecoin here that we're looking at, it is at a different stage comparing to the other altcoins. So let's hope for the best. If you are in a bullish team, good luck to you, because the chances are, well, looking at that, is in your favor for now. Hope that's the case, hope that can realize, but don't forget to set a stop loss, because we don't know what would happen. A black swan may fly by. So good luck and see you in the